If the kitchen's where you'd rather have your friends and family gather, you should hit the like and subscribe down below. And if filling plates and platters while maintaining flavor matters, then there's a stellar cook that you should know. It's Rain, the planet with a palate. They'll keep you fed and coming back for more. So come on, take up space. Rain will make a tasty plate and tell the diet Karens where to go. It's the Planet with a Palate cooking show.
All clean. Howdy y'all, welcome to another episode of Planet with a Palate. Today we are going to make something that I really love that's super easy. It's a little bit of a spin on another one of my dad's recipes. So my dad makes this pork roast and it's so good. And he just makes it really simple with cut up mushrooms, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And it turns out so good every time. But I've added a few things, I've reined it up. And I also am going to be making a delicious gravy and some home-style mashed potatoes. So here goes, oh, some yummo food. I'm very excited about this one, y'all. Woo-hoo! So before we start, we're going to chop up some veg. I'm real excited. We're going to throw in the bottom of our Instapot, which you can also use a slow cooker. I am going to do partially Instapot, partially slow cooker today because of the time I need. But honestly, usually I slow cook this for about 4.5 hours. I just don't have that kind of time this afternoon. I would love to teach you how to use your Instapot, but it was honestly very difficult for me to figure out. I will do that at some point, but that's not happening today. So choose your own cook time adventure. But I'm going to show you how to make what I'm making. So get your carrots in the pot. And also, y'all know how I cook when it comes to meat anyways. It's all about temperature, internal temperature. It's less about the amount of time you cook it and where it ends up when you stick a thermometer inside of it. So just keep an eye on it, but slow cooking it should just work fine. That's normally what I do. Depends on how big your roast is, on how long it's going to take. But let's see. We're just throwing some carrots in there. I'm leaving the skins on. I want this meal pretty rustic. Even the mashed potatoes I make. I did an episode, my very first episode, episode 1. I made mashed potatoes and I made fried chicken. And that was my creamy mashed potatoes, my like whipped style mashed potatoes. The ones we're making today is a more rustic style, and we're gonna have skins in it. But I'm definitely leaving my carrot skins on too, because I want that really thick, chunky, you know, farm to table kind of feel on these carrots. This is gonna be so good. I'm really stoked. I haven't made a gravy in a while, so, but I do make a really good gravy, and this is gonna be a pork and beef gravy because we're gonna put some beef onion soup mix in the broth here. Gosh. I made a pot roast with y'all back in January, maybe. That was a good one. That might be my favorite episode in terms of how good the food turned out. That pot roast was one of the best pot roasts I've ever made. It was really good. I love a pot roast with rutabaga. But y'all were like, on that episode, a lot of people were like, I can't have a pot roast without mash, and I can't have my pot roast without my potatoes and carrots. So we're gonna do our pork roast with potatoes and carrots and satisfy that need. Next up, we got this enormous pork roast. Ooh, it's got the bone in. This is gonna be delicious. I'm gonna take this thick bone right here, and later this week, I'm gonna use that bone, and I am going to make some beans, y'all. I love a pork bone and some beans. Lizard's very loud today, so we think she wants to be on the show.
You want to make an appearance? Look.
Hey everyone, this is Lizard. This is the loud meowing you're always hearing in the background. She likes all my food. She wants to eat it.
Yes. She's like, there's meat in here.
Yeah.
I know there's meat.
That is the noise. It's meow, meat. All right, so I'm gonna basically follow my dad in this and just cover this pork roast in some garlic powder all the way around. Yeah, lots of it. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Hit it with some onion powder all the way around. Lots of it. And hit it with a little bit of salt. And here's where I'm gonna go rogue. And I am going to add, it's gonna be so good, about half of a beef and onion soup mix. I'm gonna save the other half for our gravy. Now, we just wanna fill this up with some water.
Why is it that it's 6 minus 6? Tell me why it doesn't make sense to say 6 minus 6 is zilch.
Because zilch is not how you say the number 0. Although it is another word for nothing, so. So I really want to talk to y'all about what a lifesaver this Instapot has been, because when I first got it, I was super intimidated by it. As you know, it pressure cooks things and there's like a vent on it and things like that. So if you're not familiar with the Instapot, it can definitely be a little intimidating. But I have a curious mind and I'm not that afraid of danger. So I went for it. And found that it's amazing. Like, I can cook stuff. If I forgot to thaw out meat one day, and then I can actually cook it in the Instapot and it will cook. I have cooked a pork roast like this from frozen without a bone. But I have cooked a pork roast from frozen in the Instapot in like an hour and a half. So it's pretty incredible. And yeah, you if you have the, gumption to really just get down in there and read your little booklet and try to make it work. It's a worthwhile endeavor. So I'm going to actually use the Instapot feature today, but as I said, you can slow cook this roast. It looks so yummy and smells so yummy, and I'm really excited about it. Oh, let's put it in there. Now, what you want with your pork roast is for it to have an internal temperature at the very thickest part in the very center of at least 145 degrees. What I would say is if you get to 145 degrees and you feel that your pork roast is not soft enough, it's not falling apart the way you want, keep cooking it, but put it on a low heat. I find that will help sort of bring about the texture. I really love when I have a roast that's nice and tender. So that's what we're aiming for today. I want a pot roast that's like falling apart. Okay, so pressure level. Oh, here we go. Just kidding. It's been a while since I've used this. See? Pressure cook. Here we go. Pressure level. Normal. High pressure. Definitely more than that.
Am I interested in space?
Yes.
We're going to do... Well, it started pressure cooking. Let's cancel that. Pressure cook. Pressure level. High. And what do we want? Like a... meat stew situation. There we go. All right, so we'll try that out. It's gonna go for about 30 minutes. So with the Instapot, what I like to do is just check on it intermittently. So I'll come back and I'll know pretty quickly if it's done, if it needs to keep going. At some point I might turn it over to slow cook the end way, so that way we get like a real nice soft texture on the meat, but we'll see. I would definitely say don't follow my cook times, especially if you're not doing this with the Instapot. Honestly, I'm still kind of experimenting with it, so you know. But slow cook this because this meal is amazing. It's so good. You can even slow roast it in a pan. If you put it on like 275 and just let it set it up and let it go all day, eventually you're gonna have a really delicious roast at the end. But I'll be back to make mashed potatoes, and once this is done, we're gonna use the juice from this to make some delicious gravy, and I can't wait. So when I do my skin on potatoes, I most generally like to use an Idaho potato because the skins are thick. But the thing is, if I use all the skin, I find it to be too much skin. So I usually come in and take off about 40-50% of the skin, something like that. I just make little stripes down it. Also, if there's any spots where the skin looks like particularly not great, I'm gonna take those off because I want skin in potatoes, but I want them to look yummy and have the good, thick skin that we all love. So yeah, taking off some of the skins. Gosh, that pork smells amazing. All right, so now we've got these. I'm gonna cut the bigger ones into quarters, about like this. And the smaller ones just in half, like this. Now we have about the perfect amount of skin. Bigger ones into quarters. Obviously you don't wanna go too small because you don't want your potatoes to just turn to granules. But I find them easier to mash if I cut them a little bit smaller, which is, some people you'll see like boiling them whole or boiling them and just in half. I tend to cut mine just a little bit smaller. It helps because I don't have like the greatest amount of wrist strength, and mashing potatoes can be a lot of work. The arthritis life. All right. Always put a little bit of salt in my boiling water, whether I'm cooking potatoes or pasta, doesn't really matter. I've heard it helps it boil faster, but I honestly think it helps the flavor as well. Okay. Well, looks like our meat's done. Okay, so our meat's done. Our potatoes are definitely done. We're gonna pour out all of this potato water, except we're just gonna leave a little tiny bit left in the bottom of the pot. Okay. Now, okay, so we're gonna start smashing these potatoes. Oh yeah, looking good. We're gonna add an entire stick of butter. There we go. Oh yeah. We have about 3/4 of a thing of onion and chive cream cheese. Oh, it's looking so good. Just a little splash because they're already kind of, we don't want them to be soupy. We just want, just for the creaminess, a little splash of milk. We're gonna add some grated Parmesan cheese. This is gonna be so good. Salt. I would add pepper, but I literally just ran out. So some Italian herbs and seasonings. And last but not least, some garlic salt. These potatoes are going to be so good. They don't really need gravy, but if I'm being honest, I'm not making the gravy for the potatoes. I'm making the gravy for the pork. Oh yeah. Let's give these mashed potatoes a try. Absolutely delicious. Could use a little bit more salt. A little bit more Italian. See. Oh my God, they're perfect. So now for our gravy. I'm so excited about this. Normally I'd use a whole stick, but I'm running low. So we've got 3/4 of a stick of butter. We're gonna add to this pan. I'm gonna add, since I don't have quite enough butter, I'm gonna add a splash of my favorite truffle oil. Ooh, smells so good already. That truffle oil though, let's give it one more splash. And a little bit of olive oil. Yum. So with this butter, or in our case, butter mixture, we are gonna make a roux. How do you do that, you might ask? Well, I've shown you guys how to make a quick roux before, where you just stick the butter in the microwave and then add your, let's turn this down. So we've got this butter going here. Ooh, looks good. And we are just gonna add a little bit of flour. We're gonna whisk it. Now this butter and flour mixture is what we call a roux. We are going to take and pour our pork stock into that and keep whisking. So this pork stock, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. Came directly out of here. We're gonna add some herbs. Some salt. This pork stock came directly from our pork. Ooh, that looks good. This gravy is gonna be amazing. And y'all remember, I set aside half of this packet. I want to thin this out just a little bit, but this gravy consistency is looking really good. I'm adding a little bit of water. It'll thicken a little bit more, especially as it cools. Gosh, you guys. This is gonna be incredible. Well, I'm covered in flour, so clearly my job here is done. I'm a mess already. Let's find out how this gravy is. Oh my God. I hope y'all are ready to eat some good food. Oh, these mashed potatoes look good. Let's get some pork. Some carrots and mushrooms. This looks so good. Now I'm just gonna cover it all in gravy. Oh my gosh, I'm ready to eat. Bon appetit, y'all. I'm ready. Y'all, this gravy is so good. Dang. Mmm. Mmm. Pork roast, y'all. Mmm. The carrots are so good. The potatoes are bomb. The gravy is probably my favorite part. Not gonna lie. The gravy turned out really, really good. Mmm. And it's so good with that pork roast. Mmm. Well, I'm making a mess. So cooking this with the Instapot, it didn't get quite as soft as I wanted it to. I mean, it's still really good and tender. It's just not falling apart. And if you slow cook it, because that's how I normally do it, you'll get that falling apart texture. Mmm. This gravy honestly makes this dish, like, the gravy's so good. Mmm. Got a little gravy on my carrots. I'm not mad. Mmm. Mm. I feel like if I let this pork get softer even, you know, where it is falling apart, it would be an amazing meat pie. Like the pork, all of this. You could shred the meat make a meat pie, like right in a pie crust. The gravy, all of it. Yeah, I would make a meat pie out of this and it would be bomb. Kind of like a shepherd's pie, but with a crust and with the pork instead. Yeah. Oh no. Covered in flour, covered in mashed potatoes. These carrots came out with the perfect texture. Oh no. I say as I fling them everywhere. Gosh, I'm cleaning this plate fast, y'all. I know it's a race, but I'm in it to win it. Dang. You know, it's not a proper episode unless I get covered in food. This is why I'm saying a meat pie, because I got that last bite I got had a little bit of everything. I had mushroom, I had carrot, I had potato, meat, and the gravy, just like chef's kiss. Just imagine that in a pie crust. Woo! That's a hearty pie. That's like a pie you make for Christmas. Dang. This is a good one, y'all, and a really simple recipe. Try it. I think you're gonna love it, especially the gravy. The gravy is. Ooh, excuse me. So before I go, I just want to shout out my Planeteer of the Week, Barbara Kohler 7336. Thank you so much for all of your awesome comments that you always leave on the videos. I know you get excited when there's a new video coming up, so I really hope you enjoyed this one. I want to thank you all for being here. Y'all honestly make my life so great, knowing that you're here, enjoying my food, and it gives me sort of a reason to keep making this content, a reason to keep sharing all of my recipes, and I'm just very, very thankful for you all. So I hope y'all have a great week, and I will see y'all next time.
Bon après-midi.
Bon après-midi, Roman.
Bon après-midi, Roman.
Yeah, do you know what that means? Good afternoon. Right?
Yes. Some stuff.